Did Islam spread by force? One of the most frequently repeated claims against Islam is that it spread primarily by the sword. This narrative, although common, oversimplifies history and overlooks well-documented facts. A careful examination of Islamic teachings, historical evidence, and the actual pattern of Muslim expansion reveals a far more complex and largely peaceful picture. 1. Islam's core teaching on faith and coercion. At the heart of Islam is the principle that faith must be freely chosen. The Qur'an states explicitly, "There is no compulsion in religion." Qur'an 2:256. This verse was not revealed in a vacuum. It established a normative rule that belief cannot be imposed by force. Classical Muslim scholars consistently understood this to mean that conversion must arise from conviction, not coercion. If forced conversion were an Islamic principle, it would contradict this foundational teaching and the Prophet Muhammad's own practice. 2. Military expansion does not equal forced conversion. It is historically accurate that some Muslim-ruled states expanded rapidly in the 7th and 8th centuries. However, political or military expansion is not the same as religious conversion. Conquered populations were not required to convert. Jews, Christians, and others were recognized as people of the book and allowed to practice their faith. Conversion often took centuries, not years, something incompatible with mass forced conversion. For example, Egypt became majority Muslim several centuries after Muslim rule began. Persia retained large Zoroastrian communities long after its conquest. Spain, Al-Andalus, had Muslims, Christians, and Jews living side by side for generations. If conversion had been enforced, demographic change would have been immediate, not gradual. 3. Regions where Islam spread without armies. Some of the largest Muslim populations today are in regions never conquered by Muslim armies. Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Malaysia, and southern Thailand embraced Islam mainly through the ethical conduct of Muslim merchants, teachers and scholars who migrated to those countries. Sub-Saharan Africa Islam spread via trans-Saharan trade routes. Scholars and spiritual teachers, local rulers voluntarily adopting Islam. China Muslim communities emerged through Silk Road trade, diplomatic, and commercial relations. In these regions, Islam spread without conquest, undermining the idea that force was the primary driver. 4. Why did people convert to Islam? Historical sources point to several nonviolent factors behind conversion. Spiritual appeal, Islam's clear monotheism and moral framework, social justice, equality before God, regardless of race or class, legal protection, religious minorities often had more security under Islamic rule than under previous regimes. Economic and social mobility, conversion sometimes removed legal distinctions, but was not imposed. Importantly, many converts adopted Islam generations after Muslim governance had been established by choice. 5. Warfare in historical context. Some Muslim rulers, like all major civilizations, engage in warfare. However, wars were primarily political and defensive, not campaigns of forced belief. Non-Muslims were not compelled to convert after defeat. Places of worship were generally protected by treaty and law. Judging early Islamic history without comparing it to the norms of the medieval world creates a distorted standard. By the norms of its time, Islamic governance was often remarkably tolerant. 6. A persistent myth. The idea that Islam spread solely by force gained traction largely during medieval polemics, colonial-era narratives, modern political rhetoric. Serious historians, Muslim and non-Muslim alike, generally reject this simplistic claim. Conclusion. Islam did not spread throughout the world by forced conversion. While Muslim political power expanded through warfare in certain periods, as was common in all empires, faith itself spread mainly through preaching, trade, ethics, and personal conviction. Understanding this distinction between empire and belief is essential for an honest reading of history. Islam's endurance across cultures, languages, and continents is best explained not by coercion, but by its ability to persuade hearts and minds.